All right, here we are today. We're out at a wild spot up in the woods in Medicine Hat, but today we're going to go look for some catnip. So I know that there's some growing down here. We're gonna go on the hunt to go find it, which is like way through there. So come along with me on this wonderful adventure to find some wild catnip. With us today we have our brand new aluminum walking stick. Goes together, has a great comfortable handle, and it's perfect for going along here. So I think what we'll do is we'll take the back road to here today. Going through the jungle is no fun. Nice big spider web there. Now I know from past experience I've been bushcrafting down in this area and some of these areas here for a few years now, and I know there's no rattlesnakes down here, and if there are, I've seen rat snakes down here, and I've seen one time up in the trees I seen a huge great horned owl. He was huge, big one, and I haven't seen him since. I've only ever seen him once out here ever, that owl particularly. And then up there's on the hill right in the middle of the screen. I'll zoom in here. Right there, that's a giant wild asparagus tree that in the spring grows some amazing asparagus. I come every spring and I cut some down to have with a steak dinner that I usually, it's like my tradition every year. Grab some steaks and have some fresh asparagus. It's fun. Back to our catnip. You can see here where all the greenery is kind of pushed down. It's where the deer lay at night and stuff like that. They come out here and lay down at night. This here is a fresh spring. And you can see the little creek. It runs up through the forest, and it actually comes out of the side of the hill. It's a fresh spring. Although I would never drink the water out of there, because there have been times where I've seen like almost like an oil slick in the water. And I know when plants start to decay, you can get some kind of oil residue from decaying plants, but there have been, unfortunately, you can see, and then up through there have been squatters here in these woods in the past that have left just a mess, and not cool. I've tried to pack out a lot of garbage out of here. Last summer and last spring, I packed out 4 contractor bags full of garbage out of here. Old tents, old clothes, suitcases, probably about altogether 8 crack pipes, like those little glass tube looking pipes that people smoke crack out of down here. Mind you, I really don't care what people do, but they should take their trash with them when they leave. Whatever, each their own, man. Like I said in other videos, I'm thankful I've never gone down that road with the heavy drugs. garbage bag there. That definitely was not left by me, but those are the kind of bags I was talking about. 4 of those full. This area here with all the sticks and stuff was built up into like a I don't know, a temporary shelter where people were actually living out here. And there's another one further down where they had a huge temporary shelter set up, and it ended up burning. It was completely on fire. And I remember driving up the street to get up to the top of the hill, and there were 3 fire trucks, a bunch of cop cars, a bunch of cruisers out here. And I know there was people living in there because I hike through here all the time in the summertime. It's just a nice place to come and relax. And I stopped and talked to them, and they were really cool people. Guy I was talking to, him and his girlfriend, and there was about 2 or 3 other couples living with them. And the shelter that they had built out here was actually pretty nice. It was almost looked like a log cabin. But he offered me a beer, so I stopped and had a beer with him. And went about my hike up through the hills. So if you go out through here, we're surrounded by hills, and they're all sandy hills, and they're covered in cacti, and things like that. Different types of desert prairie, badlands type of plants. And this thing is back over here, such beautiful fauna. And a lot of these thorn trees grew out here. Lots of big poplars, huge poplar trees. And this open area here, this is an area, so where these trees are in this area, it's a dry bed. It's not wet through here. I'm going to do a stealth camp here. When I do my stealth camp here, and one of the reasons why I'm going to pick this spot too is because there's not a lot of widowmakers on these trees. This tree is completely dead, but I'm not too worried about it blowing over in a storm because they're rooted and pretty grounded. But further down here, there are some pretty decent widowmakers. See an old nest up there in the trees, or a wasp's nest. There's a pretty, right straight in front here, that tree right there is totally dead, and it's huge, but it's kind of facing downhill, so I mean if it falls over in the middle of the night, it's not going to come towards me, it's going to go towards the bottom of the hill. There is some dead stuff here, but these trees are perfect to put up hammock. I mean, it's a perfect area. I've camped out here at night, but up where I came in and where I started the video, I've camped up there overnight, and I had to run in with a porcupine in the middle of the night. That was fun. He didn't bother me. He was just kind of up sniffing, seeing what was going on, checking me out. So, I guess when you grow up out in the woods and you learn a lot about different animal species, you kind of learn to respect them because you don't want to screw with a porcupine. Not fun. So about two winters ago, I built a bushcraft chair out here. There's a video on YouTube when I was really out of shape and I was really out of breath. And I was hiking back in here last week, and I came across it. And I was like, oh, it's still there, untouched. So nobody has been back here, and I can tell nobody's been back here because there's no foot trail or foot traffic. And this spider nest, spider webs, the size of that mushroom. It's a big one. I don't know what kind of mushroom it is, but cool though. Kind that grows off of a dead tree. It's one thing I don't know much about is mushrooms. Never really learned. My brother knows a lot about them. He does quite a bit of foraging for stuff like that on his YouTube channel. But I'm not going to go too far into detail with that because I have to talk to him first before giving him a shout out on my YouTube channel. So here's one of the widowmakers. We call these widowmakers because if in the middle of the night there's a storm and that wind picks up, I'm not too worried about the smaller branches, but this tree broke off, which is kind of facing downhill is that way. I mean, if that fell over and snapped and hit you, you're dead. I mean, there's no, that tree is, it's 18 inches round, 22 inches, maybe 25 inches at the base round. It's a big old, dead old poplar tree that's been here for probably like 100 years. There's a bunch of them down here that are like that. It's like, there's one right there. There's one right here. And there's another one kind of hanging over this way. Right there. That one's totally, that's one of the reasons why I don't hammock out here. And then those two straight ahead in the middle of the screen, they're totally dead too, and they're huge trees. Cause yeah, it's just, you just don't need a strong wind coming up and taking you out in the middle of the night. I mean, you don't want to come out stealth camping and get squashed by a tree. That would suck. Right, so I've had broken bones before, and yeah, not cool, man. See, there's a huge branch that's just hanging on by, well, I don't know what it's hanging on by, but I heard earlier this year on the news, because I like to read the news online. I usually get my news feeds come in, so I read them. I don't so much watch the stuff, but there was a woman who was out for a walk with her dog and got killed by a falling tree this spring. Absolutely unimaginable, and I obviously feel for her family because she wasn't very old. There was a sort of a makeshift hut built out here that somebody had built in the ground, and almost looked like a log cabin, and had all of their stuff stashed in it. And I think I'm going to be coming up on it here right shortly, so I'll show you. There are a lot of great spots out here for stealth camping. If you like ground camping, I don't care for camping on the ground. I like to be up above a little bit, just because see, here's one of the things I was talking about back here. You can see where people come down here and they just use it for camping, but they left that suitcase has been here for at least 2 years. That golf bag's been here for a couple of years, and just a bunch of different stuff people leave here. Fire trucks, and there's a train, because right through the trees there is the fire department, or sorry, fire station. I'm actually hiking up top. You see through the trees, there's a down log right in the middle of the screen. Down below that is where I usually come in, but it is really, really weedy there, and lots of small trees, so it's really hard to push through. And then there's places like this here, where there are huge depressions in the ground. I don't know if these were foundations of old homes that used to be out here at one point in time. I'm thinking they are like the old basements, the foundations of homes or buildings that were out here for whatever reason. Maybe for the for CP rail, like for the rail yard, because the rail is just across the road here, and down is the train tracks. And if you look at some of the stones here, they look like foundation stones, and you can see them kind of going up that way. But I think it was a good party spot for kids back in the day, that's for sure. I don't think you see too many parties anymore, not out here. I think the cops are pretty up to date on what's going on out here at night. That's why I gotta be careful stealth camping, because unless I give them a reason to see me, I'm not too worried about being caught. Again, I'm not gonna have a giant bonfire out here or anything like that. You can get into these woods. Back in here is also a really, really great spot for stealth camping in a hammock. I've checked it out. There's no widowmakers up above, and the trees are perfectly spaced here to do a stealth camp. One of the things I noticed though is straight ahead in the middle of the screen, you can see where there's leaves and a pathway. There are lots of deer out here, and this is a central pathway for deer and coyotes and things like that to come through, or people to walk through at night, because I know some people do come out here and drink beer at night, whatever, I don't care. But come up here to this spot. So it's not super, I guess it is kind of super close to the road. The drive is right there going down the hill, and then on the other side of that roadway you go down a little bit and there's a set of train tracks that goes into the main rail yard. So it is really noisy out here stealth camping at night, because the trains go, like, they go 24/7. You can see this old tree is the top of what used to be that, and then there's a couple of more huge widowmakers right in front of me here. So, all right, when I come back, I'll have it set up at the catnip patch, and that's our goal for today. So I'll see you guys in a few minutes. All right, so getting back on our route here, we're down on a different trail here, or a different path that goes through. Old down tree, and on the other side of this is where that makeshift hut was that somebody out here had made. You can see down there was another spot where people stayed too. I mean, which is cool, whatever. I mean, I get it, people need places to stay. And in these woods, you could stay out here all summer and be golden, as long as you had access to food, which, I mean, there's lots of deer that walk through here. It's funny because sometimes in the spring I'll walk through here and I'll find bones, and some of the bones look like they've been hacked with a saw. You can actually see the teeth marks from where they've cut the limbs off the deer out here. So I don't know if people are poaching, or if some of the people from around the area have permits to hunt here in the wintertime. I'm not sure. I haven't really looked it up, because I used to hunt quite a bit when I was a kid with my dad, and I'm not into it as an adult. I used to really like it, but never. I've been invited out and I've gone out hunting with my friends and stuff like that out here in Alberta. And there's an army base right by. Just getting over the big log here. Called CFB Suffield. And they do a draw every year, and you can end. Okay, so I was talking about entering, sorry, the video. I don't know why my video stopped, but it stopped suddenly when I was talking about CFB Suffield. But anyways, you can enter a draw to win a chance to hunt out at CFB Suffield on the army base, which is really cool. I mean, I've had friends win it and go out there and hunt, and they hunt out there for antelope and deer, I guess. But so yeah, sorry the video cut out. So we're here now. Okay, now I'm gonna have to show you guys this. So here we are. This is wild catnip, which at first I thought was wild mint by the smell of it. So here I am sniffing it and crunching it up and like, oh, it smells like wild mint. And I pinched a bunch of it off and I'm huffing it, like taking real deep breaths, thinking, oh, that's wild mint. It smelled really good. And then I started to get a euphoric kind of feeling from it. I'm like, okay, that's not wild mint because I shouldn't feel like that. I felt like kind of like, I guess when you smoke weed or whatever, a little bit mild, very, very mild. And that was from the catnip. So I ended up having to read a little bit about it while I was out here. But apparently if you make tea out of it, it can help you sleep and it can help you to relax, which I'm quite surprised it doesn't do the opposite as high as it gets, cats, felines, and things like that. So I'm going to pick a whole bunch of this wild catnip today because I have a friend who has a cat, or there's people in my girlfriend's building who I'm sure have tons of cats. So I'm going to pick a bunch of it, bring it up, dry it out, and see if maybe they want it. This is the whole reason why I came out here today, was to get some catnip. So we'll do that. I'm going to set up my tripod and I'm going to pick away. So I'll be right back. So there's tons of the catnip out through here. So I'm going to pick a bunch. I got my bushcrafting knife, my trusty. It's actually stainless. It's just got some stuff on it from before, but it's a more knife. I've had this knife for 6 years, and it's one of the trustiest knives I've ever used. I use it for everything for bushcrafting. And here's your baggie. Fill this up with as much catnip as we can get. This is a muffler city. People like their mufflers out here. Sure. A lot of people are like, you should be using gloves. Because it has a very distinct smell. It smells almost like marijuana. Like pot and mint and lemon sort of mixture. It's weird. So we're gonna we got a huge bunch here. There's lots of catnip here. Just gonna take this bunch home and dry it. And it also works as a mosquito repellent too. You can use it and you can crush up the leaves and rub it on your clothes, or put it in pouches, and it'll help keep mosquitoes away. Having a really good look at it to make sure that there's not ticks and spiders or anything on there that I can be bringing home. Looks pretty good. Might pack a few more plants in there. Figured another bunch. Another bunch for the bag. Like I said, I just gotta double check it for ticks. Bugs on it. But these also have seed pods, so you can guys get the seeds out of them and replant them out here, so more can grow. Party night tonight in Cat Town. All right, when we come back, we're gonna go and make us some tea. So I'll catch you on the flip side of that. That'll be fun. We'll get reset up. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Before we go, I'm also gonna take you guys and show you that bushcraft chair that's still out here. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna show you guys that bushcrafting chair that I built about 2 years ago on my YouTube channel. It's just right through here. So here we are. So there's how much, because I remember this dead tree purposefully, and it was in the winter time or early spring maybe, but there it is, which is still together. That dollar store bank line that I told you guys that I use from the dollar store, I've had other projects out here that have held together for 4 years with that type of nylon type of line from the dollar store. So it's like bank line, but it's not hard, and it's like only $2.75 for a roll of it, and you get like 400 or 500 feet. Somebody had an old TV. Somebody brought a whole bunch of junk, a collapsible laundry bin, some old cables, and just a bunch of trash out here. So that must have been underneath the snow when I came out here to do the video, or I just didn't see it, or it came out after. But yeah, that's the bushcraft chair that I did on that one YouTube video. So that's been out here for 2 years, still standing. I could probably sit on it and it would still be solid. You know what, let's give it a shot. Okay, just gonna clear some of this brush and stuff out of the way. All right, so here we go. Wish me luck. Still solid, how about that? Can't complain. I think it's kind of made its way into the ground a little bit. So that's where we came from, was through there. That hum, I don't know if you guys can hear that hum in the background or not. It's a train just sitting there on the tracks getting ready to take off. They're probably just doing their final prep check. Up through here. So when I come back, I could do a tea video right here actually and use my bushcraft chair and just clear off a little spot, but I have a way better spot to go make some tea. So when I come back, we'll do that. So I'll see you guys back in just a little bit. Okay, so here we are through the woods. This is that area where I was telling you guys about, where I met those people 2 summers ago, and it completely burned. Like, this whole thing was on fire. You can see the flames from all the way down the street, all the way down the hill. So, looking through all this junk and trash and all the stuff that was out here, when I was out here visiting with them, it was a pretty elaborate setup. Like, they had trip lines, all kinds of stuff out here to let them know that there were people out here coming through. And I ended up coming across them, and I told them, I said, hey, you know, I'm just hiking through. And the guy was like, hey, no problem. And he yells out, hey, you want a beer? So I'm like, yeah, sure. So I stopped and had a beer with him. And after it burned, one thing that was left out here, like, you see that tree? That's how high up the flames went, like 10, 12, maybe 15 feet, because you see this tree here too. Completely burned. But it's all the plants and fauna are starting to grow back. One thing I noticed that was out here, like there were several cash boxes. So they look like they were out of cash registers or something like that. So I'm assuming whatever was going on out here, looking through all of that stuff, was probably illegal. I mean, it's what people do to survive in an economy where people are struggling to survive. And when you're on some of these drugs like meth or fentanyl or hydromorphone or oxycodone or any of those other really powerful chemical drugs, it's a dependency that's really hard to quit. Like I keep saying, I'm so thankful that I never went through it, because I've seen people go through it, and I've had friends go through it, and neighbors, you know. But like I said, I never judged them for it. It's their own business, and they're allowed to do what they want as adults, right? So I just wanted to show you guys that spot briefly. I want to head to my area where we're gonna have some tea. Okay, so here we are, where we started at. This little gas tank, and this is where I've done some of the bushcraft videos. It's pretty thick down there, man. It's like, whew. Quit vaping almost 3 months now, and quit nicotine pouches for, it's been 14 days today. 13 days. Sorry. Nicotine pouches were an aid to help with quitting the nicotine from vaping. But I found that I was starting to have problems with my esophagus, and my stomach were starting to get really, really sore from the pouches, because I took them for about 2 months. And then I finally had enough and just quit. Was done with it. Now my stomach feels better, way less out of breath. I'm in way better physical and cardio shape for sure because of it. So I'm in my 40s, so I take that into consideration too, right? 50's coming up right straight away here. Well, not straight away, but still have some leeway. That deal. So when I get back, I'll be set up, and we're gonna make us some tea. So we're gonna have some tea. I'm gonna get the stuff out, get it ready. So we got some stuff up here. This is the line I was telling you guys about. This line here, it was from the dollar store. This is actually still some of that stuff that I had left. That stuff that was on that tree back there was 2 years, and I've had stuff down here for probably 3 or 4 years that is still holding stuff together and still really strong. So it's really good. And here we have the fire kit. Just going to just hold our trivet. Always thinking it's gonna go off the first one, you know. You always got that, like, oh yeah, got it off the first spark. And what this is a medium of wax and snake bedding and like hamster type bedding that you get at the pet shop, and it makes a great makes an excellent fire starter. I have about 150 of them made at home, and when I go camping, it's what I use to start my fires because I don't use paper, so it doesn't fly all over the place. while to get started, this one. It's weird. There we go. That figures, shit happens. Should have made sure that was straight, but it's part of filming. And I don't edit my videos. Everything you guys get is raw because I do everything from the human side. And obviously, you know, stupid mistake. If I was in a survival situation, that would have been really, really, really bad. But I'm not in a survival situation. See how long that takes to boil so we can have some tea. I have more water, don't worry, I'm not out. They're just in branded jugs and I really don't want, I try not to brand too much in my videos. Which is kind of a hypocrisy because I'm gonna do it when I have tea. So it looks like it looks like the fire's right underneath the cup, but it's definitely not. It could be lower down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to lower it down and bring you guys back. Okay, so I brought it up a little bit higher. I put like a piece of a brick or a rock underneath it just to have it so it's up a little bit higher for the flames to reach the bottom of the cup so it doesn't take so long to boil. So another little pack here that I bring my tea stuff in. So Earl Grey tea, pumpkin spice, calming chamomile, different brand of Earl Grey, chamomile, another brand for Earl Grey, different brand of chamomile. So we have lots of different teas, and then we have, of course, sugar and a spoon. I do it just for the laugh, believe me. Sugar. So let's see, which one are we going to pick? Earl Grey. Black Earl Grey tea. One of my favorite teas. I like licorice tea is my ultimate favorite tea. I love the taste of the licorice, the raw licorice, licorice root tea. But I'd have to say right up there with licorice tea in the first place would definitely be Earl Grey tea. I like the bergamot, whatever you guys want to call it, or cool. Because of its aroma and flavor. I was never born a Trekkie, but when I got older I got into Star Trek and I really became a huge fan of it. So yeah, Earl Grey tea hot, everybody knows where that comes from, right? that's what we're gonna have here in our tea. So that'll be good. Also, yes, I use a paracord to do up my pants. Okay, so I had to raise it up again, the fire pot underneath, just to get it a little bit closer to the bottom of my container here for boiling, because it was too low. Usually I like it low on the trivet if I'm cooking with a frying pan, or I'm cooking like meat or something like that. I don't want the flames too close to the bottom of the frying pan like that. I like it to just heat the pan, not overheat it and then have it all black. But I mean, I've had this cup for probably 3 years. I've been using it for boiling water and stuff. I mean, I watch a lot of YouTubers, and a lot of these guys, they have brand new gear every single time they do a video, or like every time they go out on a trip, they have like brand new gear. I get they like to try it out, and I'm sure some of them probably get paid to advertise these people's gear, but I really don't care. If you notice my fancy ring, it's actually my remote for the camera. This way I don't lose it. I've lost 3 remotes YouTubing. So now I wear it. I don't have to worry about losing it, which is good. So that's boiling away. That's boiling way better now than it was before. That's good. But yeah, like I said, this bank line is it's just cheap. It's thrifty bank line, but man, it's the best stuff I've ever used. I've used the twine or that jute to make stuff, but it never lasts. But I've had stuff like that bushcraft chair has been there for 2 years or whatever, right? And I've just used this stuff for it, and it's really good. You can stir up the inside of the fire pup too and loosen up the material inside. That's why it's inside of a. That's why I have it inside of a tin, because then if it just goes inside the tin when you move it around, if it falls out of the casing that holds it together. I can see steam starting to rise off the top of the cup. There's a bit of a breeze through here today, so I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but the stuff, that smoke coming up from the wax and the material that's burning in the back. You might be able to see the steam coming up out of the cup right here. Just a tiny little bit. Like, I'm not gonna let it come to a full boil, I think, just because it's like really hot out here today. So yeah, I know drinking tea on a hot day makes a lot of sense, right? But I love it. Okay, so I think I'm good. I can see the little bubbles starting to form in the bottom of that, so which means it's boiling. It's good enough for me. It's hot. You can see the steam coming up out. So we're gonna take it off, and I'm gonna just cap that fire on the fire stick there. But before I do that, we could make sure there's no bugs on it or spiders. Drop our tea bag in there. Perfect. Yeah, I know, I use honey. When I'm at home, just out here, sugar. When I'm at home, I like to use honey for sure. I have lots of it at home. Not free trade honey, I don't get it from the farmers, but everything comes from a big box store that starts with C in town. I think you know what I'm talking about. I like their honey. Their brand honey is really good. At least I know there's no corn syrup in it mixed in with it. It's all pure honey. we're gonna let that sit and brew. And to get this put out, I have a brick here. You can try to blow that out, it's never gonna happen. You can pour water on it, and if you pour water on that, it's really gonna crackle because it's wax, so it's hot wax. It's kind of like pouring it on hot oil. So that's kind of the effect you're gonna get off of it. I've showed you guys on other videos that you can put this out with water and let it sit for a few minutes and put a spark to it and it'll start right back up, right? But I really don't want to pour water on it. So I'm just gonna get it out of the trivet. The trivet's not too hot. Just nice and pliable. And it's bendy, which is good. I made it that way. So I can get this out. Get it set down there. Take our trivet. This. Simple as that. And then it goes out and then we're good to go. We'll let that cool. Flames are out on it, just like that, and then you can brush the carbon off the top of that and save it for your next fire, and it'll start right back up for your next fire on your next adventure. And sometimes I'll pull it out because there's lots of, like, there's wax that is in the bottom of this. I'll show you guys here once I get this out. Get that out. In the bottom of this, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's wax in there. And then from years of welding, my hands, the heat doesn't really bother my hands, but that's a little bit hot still to touch, so let the wax, and then I'll pour the wax back on top of that. And for the wax, actually this one is scented. I had clear white regular wax that I was using to make fire pucks. You can use there's a company that makes scented wax, and I had an ad out in town here for to go collect all of their used waxes, so people were saving me all their used wax instead of throwing it away. And I ended up with a huge cereal box, like one of the great big family size cereal boxes full, and 3 plastic grocery bags full of the plastic packs with the recycled wax in it. Tons of wax, and I still have tons of wax to make tons more fire pucks. I honestly don't think from now on, probably till the day I die, which is hopefully a long time from now, I'll ever have to use paper, and I'll always have fire pucks. And getting the medium to make them from the pet store, like the pet store, is really cheap. They're not really expensive. Or if you're brave enough to go look in their dumpsters sometimes, and kind of that's what I did, is I kind of dumpster dived into the back of the pet shop, and they had 4 bags. 2 of them were snake bedding, and 2 of them were the hamster chips, like the real fine, the tiny little hamster chips for them. So I took the bags out of the dumpster. I mean, why not, right? It's free. And that's how I made all of my fire pucks. And I still have medium left from all of those projects. I still have about 2.5 bags left of each medium to use. So I got lots and lots and lots. So it's definitely cool enough now. And then I just take the wax. Pour the wax back into the puck so that it dries, and then there's just a little bit of charcoal from the fire puck left in there, and then we're good. And then just take this, which is candle hot, so it's like as hot as candle wax, because that's basically what all that is with the wood. And just get this put back in here to cool off. Yeah, you saw some wax leak out, whatever. Okay. All right, until next time, guys, enjoy. Cheers to beautiful cup of tea that's going to be really, really good. Earl Grey tea. Until next time, take care, be of good health, try to love one another like I say in all my videos, and be kind to one another. Ciao for now.